Good afternoon to you. Mark Suttoth, HurricaneTrack.com here. Hurricane Outlook and Discussion time. And as the title says, come in, close the door, and take a seat. This is a very serious discussion. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I think that's the best way to approach this. We have a very serious season in front of us. It's already been impactful. And it really is time to talk about the next 90 days or so and what is likely coming. I try to keep things pretty level and not get all hyped up about stuff unless it's absolutely necessary. And I'm starting to see the signs that it's going to be absolutely necessary. Okay? So this is a very serious look at what's coming. There's reasons behind it. And let me explain. As always, I appreciate you joining me. This is a very serious moment here. Why? Because we've been talking about this for the better part of several months. Warm waters in the tropical Atlantic relative to average, colder water in the Pacific relative to average, and that is leading to a lowering of sea level pressures here, higher than normal pressures here. The warm water in the northwest Atlantic and other factors have led to the hurricane season that we're already seeing, very busy so far, 9 named storms and 2 hurricanes, and now today, Dr. Phil Klotzbach and his colleagues from Colorado State University indicating an extremely active 2020 Atlantic hurricane season with a total, including the 9 we've had, of 24 named storms, 12 hurricanes. That means we would have 10 more and still to go 5 Category 3 or higher. This is very significant, on the border of historic. And you don't know until it's over if it's historic, but this is the forecast. 24, 12, 5 with an ACE of 200. That's the accumulated cyclone energy. The normal is 106. This is all about the wind energy. Very, very high ACE year. Big impacts. We have already had big impacts. Isaias making landfall in North Carolina, rapidly getting its act together as it did so. 5-foot storm surge along the coast there, especially in Brunswick County. 33 tornado reports, right? 3.6 million people without power along the East Coast. We saw this coming. The Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center. You remember, in my videos, you can go back and watch them. The entire East Coast, all the way into Canada, was just blanketed with watches and warnings of varying varieties and impact levels. And it had come to fruition. It's happened. You know, we had, luckily, Hannah, mostly unpopulated area of South Texas, and the stage is now set for a very active period. Luckily, we're going to have a break, though, about the next week or so. That's very good. We could all use a break, myself included. But look, we're seeing it. You know, this report from the Capital Weather Gang. These pictures here from one of our longtime friends, Steve, up in Delaware. Come on, this is real stuff, and I've seen many, many, many more pictures on social. Twitter and Facebook, Instagram. I mean, this is happening already, and we're just getting started. And we really need to embrace this, that this map, which is fairly quiet now, little impulse over Africa, not too bad out here, some Saharan air still to the north. Little disturbance over there. We got a break right now. That's good. But here's the deal. Talking one-on-one here. Very, very honest with you. This is serious now, okay? Not that it wasn't before, but this is a big deal because the amount of activity that we could see will impact the Caribbean, the Lesser Antilles, the Greater Antilles included in there, the Bahamas, Central America, the Gulf Coast, all the way up to Atlantic Canada. That's a really, really big target for these hurricanes. We're talking about 10 more hurricanes to go. That's a lot. That's an entire season still left in front of us. The fact that they're forecasting 5 major hurricanes, those are the ones that do the biggest damage. But I mean, just Isaias created a lot of damage itself. You know, I just showed you that report from Capital Weather Gang. What can you do about it? The very biggest thing that we have is not understanding what we're up against. Complacency and hubris, where we think we know more than nature, or we know more than the experts. You know, that hubris that it's going to be fine. We got it. You know, there's no problem. I'm better than that. That bravado hubris that, they always say this, they're never right. Those people are themselves correct until they are not, until it impacts them directly. And I've seen that over and over again. And then they're the ones that are saying, I'll never stay again. I'll never, it's the way it goes. But I'm talking to you very personally here. Talk to your family, your business associates, if you've got a local business or something. Doesn't matter what it is. Talk to your extended family. Hey, you know, Mark says it's going to be a pretty bad season ahead. Doesn't guarantee that they're all going to hit land. Any of them are going to hit land. Who knows? But the signs are there. We probably really should do something about it. Talk to your family. Send an email out, a Facebook group, whatever the case may be, your church group, anything, civic group, Rotary Club, Civitan. This is it. This is your warning that we know it's coming. And that is a gift that the science can tell us using hind casting, going back and looking at past hurricane seasons that were busy, figuring out the fingerprints of why they were busy, and seeing if it matches what we have in front of us. And the answer is a resounding yes. That's a gift. We know it's coming. So instead of cowering and griping about it and complaining and saying, just doom and gloom. No, it's not. It's the reality of living on an active planet. It just is. We live near the water, but you don't even have to live near the water. And one of these hurricanes could come in through the Gulf, just as an example here, and move in, and you're up here in Birmingham, Alabama, and you get 20 inches of rain or a tornado or whatever. You know, you don't live near the water, not the ocean. Stop thinking of it like that. And take this very seriously. Educate yourself. Read up about it a little more here and there. It's all on the internet, especially the National Hurricane Center site. And find out what your vulnerabilities are. You know, this is what you got to do right now, especially if you're new to an area. And if you've been through it and you're like, oh, Mark, I've heard all this before. Good. I'm reminding you again, your friendly neighborhood hurricane guy. I'm just trying to motivate you, not frighten you. The dog agrees. We're frightened about what we don't understand. Okay? The less we understand, we fear what we don't understand. The more we know, the better prepared we can be mentally, and then we can put actions in place that can make a difference. All right? So right now, nice and calm. I like social media for the good that it can serve. This is an example. David Schlotthauer, I think that's how you say it, tweeting at me about the GFS 200 millibar velocity potential, the anomalies, the departures from normal. Look at this. This is where we are now. This is progressing through time. That green inflates like a big old bubble right over the western part of where most of us live, right? That's the western hemisphere, right in the Atlantic, the eastern Pacific. Probably going to see some activity there. And this is just through mid-August that this is showing. Favorable in the Atlantic, unfavorable in the Pacific. We have about a week to 10 days, I hope, and then it's going to get crazy again. What can I do to help? Most of everything I do is available to everybody absolutely free of charge. That is because of the support group that I have on Patreon. Tomorrow I'm going to produce a video just about what I'm doing with this project. We call it the Hurricane Landfall Project. That's kind of our inside, behind-the-scenes name for it. Not secretive, code name, whatever. We've had this project for 16 years. It started in 2014. And I think that's a good name. I think I'm going to bring that back into the forefront, if you will. And this project is all about studying hurricanes at landfall. But the front end of that project is all this awareness stuff, the information, the education side, the Hurricane U that I do. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. And I get my paycheck from those folks right down there that says, supported by our patrons. It's not a subscription service. No, you don't pay money and then you get a magazine in the mail. That's the old days. This, my friends, is the modern era of hurricane online information and live coverage. And if you've been a part of it, you know, spread the word. I will talk about it in more detail in a separate video, how you can get involved and how it will continue to affect the greater good. It really will, and it does, and it will continue to do so. I'm on Twitter, of course, at HurricaneTrack. I encourage you to follow along. Tune out people that are negative and whatever. Just tune them out. Seriously, mute them. If they're being negative and saying stuff that doesn't make sense, mute them, shut them off. I like to respond to as many people as I can, so stay positive with it. Can't respond to everybody. I try to sleep sometimes. And of course on YouTube, that has grown phenomenally, and it's all because of you guys. And so I'll continue to do what I do, and as long as you promise me one thing: be prepared. Be knowledgeable, be prepared, and accept the science that we know what we're talking about. It's not just Mark Sudduth. It's the Weather Service. It's people like Phil. We're humans. We're not infallible. But we see what's coming, and you dadgum better well take it seriously. That's why I titled this, Come In, Shut the Door, Take a Seat. This is real. All right? So be positive going forward. We're going to get through this together and use our collective knowledge and experiences, and we'll make it. Okie dokes. Have a good rest of your evening. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. It's awesome to have you. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll be back with much more for you tomorrow.